I'm your host, Sharada Devi, of the Born to be Free podcast that serves as a bridge between the ancient and the new era, a confluence of opposites where all is seen as sacred and every experience is meant to catapult you into your supreme destiny. Om Mata, Om Kali, Durga Devi Namo Namaha. Om Mata, Om Kali, Durga Devi Namo Namaha. Shakti Kundalini, Jagadambe Mata. Shakti Kundalini, Jagadambe Mata. Jai. Welcome, warm welcome. Or maybe it's not so warm because it's cold here. A snowy welcome. I'm so happy you're here with me in my new season of the Born to be Free podcast. I'm your host, Sharada Devi. And here I am in the Swiss Alps, in Davos, where I grew up. I left 22 years ago on the search for freedom. And you may have listened and tuned into my previous season. I shared 4 episodes about my journey, how I was seeking freedom, eternal happiness, and how I had an incredible spiritual awakening in India that was really the beginning of my journey towards discovering what freedom really is and how I found my teacher. As we say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So check out the last season if you want to know more about me and my journey and how I have come here, where I can sit here with you today and share my heart and what has blessed my life so profoundly. So I'm back here in Switzerland after 22 years, and it's a very special moment. It's snowing, and I'm beginning this new season of the Born to be Free podcast. And I want to dedicate this season to the magic and the profound blessing and the world of rituals. Ritual has been part of my life since a very long time, and it has really changed me in every possible way, in the way that I discovered that we can ritualize our life. It means to discover first and foremost that actually everything is given. All that is here is grace. All that is here is a gift from the universe, from Goddess, from God. And when we see what we have, we cannot but have gratitude for what is given. And we also see that really everything is grace, so meaning we are not really in control of anything. We can have wishes, we can have desires, we can have dreams, but we never know what we really get, or if we are going to accomplish what we want to accomplish, if we're going to fulfill our desires. And so the result is given by the universe. Everything is given. We only have a say over our actions. I can choose to do, I can choose not to do, I can choose to do differently. And so we have a free will. And we say in the Vedic tradition that the most powerful way to use our free will is in prayers. So then you would ask, what are we praying to? Well, what are we not praying to? And this whole universe is an infinite, intelligent being. It's a being. It exists, it's alive, and we are alive. And it's full of infinite knowledge. The more we know how much we don't know. And so we call this universe Jagat, the world, that which comes and that which goes. We have so many names in the Vedic tradition for this world. We also call this world the goddess, Devi, or we call this world the god, Deva. Probably the word divine came from the Sanskrit root div, which means to shine, to be self-shining. So the goddess really is she who shines, she who is self-shining, she who is self-existent. Deva is he who shines, he who exists. So God as God doesn't need something else for its existence. It exists by its own nature. And so this whole universe is, as we call it, Devi or Deva. This is how Goddess is. This is how God is in the form of this magnificent universe. beginning with space, like space, akasha, we are granted space. Where is space not? Without space, nothing exists. And space is all accommodating. It accommodates all beings. And we have the air. And here in Davos, it's so wonderful to breathe because the air is really fresh. And so we have the goddess in the form of the air. We get to breathe. We get to feel the cold. We get to feel the heat. We have fire. We have goddess God in the form of the fire, the heat, the sun, without which we cannot see anything. And we have water. Imagine a life without water. Because of water we can taste. And we have the earth. And because of the earth we can smell. And so we're actually experiencing God as God the whole time. Through existing, through hearing, through speaking, through feeling, through seeing, through smelling, through tasting. And so we're actually having an experience of God, Goddess all the time, but we're not really aware of that fact because we have been told that God, Goddess, or God, who has been talking about the goddess has been long forgotten, but she's resurrecting right now, she's re-emerging, the goddess. We mainly talked about the God, and the God that we, or most people got introduced to is the God that sits up in the sky, in heaven, with a long beard, and looks down upon us and judges. And so that kind of God is not very trustworthy. And so many people have dismissed God altogether because the image that we've been told is not believable. And so in the Vedic tradition, we don't believe in God. We don't believe in Goddess. We know God, Goddess. We know. We want to know, we want to understand God, Goddess. And we want to discover God, Goddess in everything and in everyone, and also in ourselves. And so discovering that God, Goddess is, and that you are God and I am God, and all that is here is God. In other words, all that is here is sacred. Nothing is profane. We cannot but be in prayers, in gratitude. When we pray, we are in gratitude for the infinite given grace. We are grateful that we get to wake up in the morning, because we don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow, do we? So every time we wake up, you can say a little prayer and say, thank you that I've been given another life. And we say a little prayer when we are getting out of the bed and that our legs are still working because they could suddenly not work anymore. And when we go to the toilet and when we brush our teeth and when we take a shower, it's Goddess in the form of water, delighting and kissing this body. And so there is an awareness, there's a prayerfulness, there is consciousness in every action. And there's an awareness and understanding that I cannot take anything for granted, not even that I can brush my teeth. There was a time where I was almost not able to brush my teeth. I talk about that in the first season in the episode 3, when I had my spiritual awakening and then I had to recover from that. And there was a time I couldn't brush my teeth, and I really understood how valuable it is to be able to brush my teeth. And so sometimes we don't see what we have until we don't have it anymore. And so ritualizing our life is the most beautiful way to really be in touch with the reality that all that is here is given, is grace, all that is here is sacred, and my life becomes meaningful again. My life becomes purposeful, and you enter the magic that always is here. Magic always is. And so I learned from my teacher and from my lineage to ritualize my life. And so I took on that way of living from the moment I wake up all the way when I go to bed. I am in prayers because we cannot take anything for granted. And what happens when we are in prayers, the heart grows. The heart grows means the heart opens up. And isn't that what we all desire? To have an open heart. It's so painful to have a closed heart when we cannot trust, and when our heart is numb, when our heart is closed down. There is an isolation that happens. And in that isolation, we feel lonely. In that loneliness, we feel depressed. And no one wants to be lonely. No one wants to be depressed. What happens is when we shut down our heart, we also shut down the capacity to feel joy and to feel gratitude. Yes, we can shut down our hearts and we protect ourselves from feeling pain, but we also shut down the ability to feel gratitude and love. And gratitude and love are the most beautiful feelings. When we feel gratitude, we feel at peace. When we feel love, we feel limitless. And that's what we are. We are limitless. And so the Vedic tradition, the Vedic vision is here to help us see that we are limitless. That is our nature, that we are limitless. What a big word. And so ritualizing our life helps us to discover that fact, that we are everything we want to be already. And it helps us to feel again and to enter the sacred magic. In other words, the sacred beauty of life. And what is sacred beauty? For me, sacred beauty is when we can accept ourselves. That is most attractive, self-acceptance. So, this episode dedicated to rituals, and the Vedic tradition has many celebrations all year long dedicated to the goddesses, to the gods, to the sacredness of life in different forms, in different manifestations. So the goddess can manifest, as I mentioned, as the elements. The goddess God manifests as knowledge, as money, as pleasure, as beauty, because all that is here is God as God. And so there are countless celebrations all year long in India to celebrate the gift of life. And so there is one celebration that we call Navaratri. Navaratri means the night of the 9 nights. Navaratri means the 9 nights of the goddess. And is specifically dedicated to Durga. Durga, Dukkham Gacchati. Gacchati means take away, and Dukkham means pain. So Durga is she who takes away pain. In other words, also, in another way, we also call her the Great Mother. Because a mother actually is here to help us take away pain. And funny enough, many of our mothers gave us a lot of pain, but not because they wanted to, it's just because their mother gave them a lot of pain and their mother gave them a lot of pain, because we don't know what we truly are. And when we don't know what we truly are, we often act out of pain. And so Durga, she's the mother who knows who she is. She knows that she is limitless. She knows that she is whole and complete. She has self-acceptance. She accepts herself. And because she accepts herself, she can accept everyone else as well. That's very admirable. That's a very admirable quality. And so Durga has many, many qualities that are very admirable. And in the Vedic tradition, we say, Yat bhavam tat bhavati. Yat bhava means as you admire, tat bhavati. So you become, so you are. So when I admire Durga, she who takes away pain, she who accepts herself, she who is unconditional love, she who is non-judgmental, she who is absolute validation, loves me as I am, and if I admire her, I become like her. I am like her. And so during Navaratri, during the 9 nights of the goddess, we worship Durga every night. Every night we do rituals. We create a beautiful altar that we begin to create weeks before, an incredible, beautiful altar that represents the whole universe. And then during the 9 nights, we do pujas, we do rituals, and we offer gifts. So we come with flowers, the most exquisite, fragrant flowers. We come with rose water, we come with coconut oil, we come with milk and honey and fruits and mango and dragon fruits and apples and berries and whatever you want to offer. Like, how can we express the love that we are? How can we express the gratitude? And sometimes we get to fake it until we make it, because we don't know what we truly are. We have a lot of judgments, self-judgments about myself, the world, and other people. And so during Navaratri, we dedicate these 9 nights to neutralize all these judgments that we have made upon ourselves, the world, and God, and other people. we take this time and we engage in sadhana, we engage in spiritual practice, and we withdraw basically from the social engagement and the usual comfort to come in touch with our inner world. And so we call that self-inquiry, to discover what is there, where am I in denial, where am I not recognizing unhealthy patterns that I'm still engaged in and that are inhibiting my emotional and spiritual growth. Where am I in resistance in life? Where am I blaming other people for my sadness? And so Navaratri gives us this opportunity to really discover the pain and then process the pain, offer the pain to Durga, she takes it, and then to come in touch with the truth, with myself, and discover that actually the truth of who I am is love. When I see that I am love, all pain dissolves, all judgment resolves. And so it is really a celebration of love. It is a celebration, it is a very special, sacred time to come in touch with truth and to practice dharma. So what does dharma mean? Dharma means that which sustains, that which protects, that which upholds. So what protects? Values, universal values. So, for example, ahimsa. Himsa means harm. Ahimsa means to cause least harm. And so I'm practicing ahimsa through inquiring and seeing where am I hurting myself or others, where am I in self-sabotage, where am I talking bad about myself or bad about other people. So where am I resisting facts I cannot change? Because when I resist facts that I cannot change, I'm still in himsa, like I'm resisting and I'm perpetuating that hurt that is already here. And then often what happens is I project that harm or that hurt, that pain to someone else. Like suddenly I blame my partner or my husband or my children or the president for the misery of my life. And the truth is they are not responsible for my misery and they're also not responsible for my happiness. And so during Navaratri, we are engaging in the discovery and the study of these values like ahimsa or the value of satyam. Satyam means the value to speak the truth, to be totally honest with myself and with other people about my needs, about my wishes, about what hurts me. And so when we engage in this sadhana, then these values start to become alive again. And the unhealthy patterns, they are neutralized through these healthy patterns, through ritualizing my life, through doing a ritual, through self-inquiry. And in that moment, I'm accumulating a lot of spiritual wealth. So that spiritual wealth then will fructify in this life or in another life in more and more auspicious situation where then I have a possibility to grow, to be in situations and to be with people that also have a value for dharma, a value for emotional and spiritual growth. Because the values that we have been cultivating lately for years and years now, and even centuries and millenniums, are values that we know they're not really giving us what we really want. Like the value where money becomes more important than the truth, where power becomes more important than gentleness, where the fulfillment of my desire becomes more important than the feelings of other people. And so when I don't follow dharma, what happens is I burn myself. It is like fire. Like fire in its own nature, it is not dangerous. But if I stick my finger in fire, then I will get burned. And it's not that the fire wants to burn me, it's just the nature of fire is heat and it burns. And dharma is exactly the same. When I go against universal values like ahimsa, like hurting through actions, through judging, through blaming other people, maybe even hitting other people, then I'm continuing that cycle of pain and I cause more hurt. if I lie, like nobody wants to hear a lie. We all want the truth ultimately. You don't want that anyone lies to you. But if I lie, then eventually my words don't have any power anymore, and people don't trust me anymore. And eventually people will also lie. So dharma protects us. And when I go against dharma, it's like I put my finger in the fire and I get burned. So when I go against dharma, I will get hurt. And so during Navaratri, we're recognizing that whatever suffering I am experiencing right now in my life or have experienced, it is here so that I can inquire and see, where have I gone against universal values? Probably I've done something in this life or another life that was going against this universal value, and that's why it's coming back to me now. But I don't see that as a curse. I see that as a blessing, because now I get to grow. I get to get in touch with my pain, welcome my pain, process my pain, express my pain as an information, and make something beautiful out of it. And that's why rituals have helped me in my life so much, because there was so much pain in my life. There was a time in my life I experienced so much hate, like rage. It was really like eating me up inside. And if I would not have had the gift of rituals, I don't know what I would have done. Like that rage and that hate, I would have acted out. I maybe would have hurt someone. And also I did hurt some people because I was helpless in that moment, and I said and I did things that I really regret. But at that time, it was the best that I could do. I didn't have many more tools. But then as I started to learn and grow, and I received these tools of ritual and understand this cycle of karma and how it functions, I really took responsibility for my own pain. And then I embodied that pain, I expressed it. And Durga and Kali really helped me with that. You probably have heard of Kali. If you haven't, Kali, she is the goddess of time, the goddess of change. And she doesn't look very sweet and beautiful. She's like, her tongue is out, and she has a skull in her head, and she drinks the blood, and she is like the goddess of all these emotions that we usually in our society we judge, like anger and hate and jealousy. Like Kali helps us to get in touch with all these emotions that are taboo. But the truth is, all emotions are sacred. Emotions are flavors of life, and there's nothing wrong or bad about any emotion in life. Even hate or rage or jealousy, they all have to be expressed in a healthy way. And so basically during Navaratri, we're invoking these goddesses like Durga and Kali to help us process this emotion and bring out the sacred beauty. So we bring them out in this ritual, in the dance, in the music, in poetry, in painting. And you probably have noticed the most exquisite art, like the most exquisite music or painting, there it moves you, it brings you to tears. And that is because the artist was in touch with his, her, or their emotion, and then embodied this emotion and put those emotions on the canvas or into the lyrics or into the music or into the dance. And so that is what we do during Navaratri. We have celebrated in Devi School. Devi School is my school, the school of the goddess where spirituality meets embodiment. We've been celebrating Navaratri for the last 4 years. So 4 years in a row, we have organized a festival. It's called the Navaratri Festival. It was a beautiful festival that we ran online and invited my dear sisters from around the world, incredible women, leaders and role models and incredible teachers. In other words, witches and priestesses that I've invited, and we've created this incredible sadhana spiritual routine for the last 4 years with over 30 or 40 different play shops where people from all over the world were able to participate in this sadhana. And so this was an incredible offering. It really made my heart grow fonder, and my community has grown a lot because of Navaratri. And everyone loved Navaratri because they really saw the transformation that happened in only 9 nights. Because when we really open ourselves up to Navaratri, to Durga, to the goddess, to these rituals, to these prayers, it will transform your life, just like it has mine, just like it has transformed the life of hundreds and thousands of people. Because Navaratri is celebrated all over the world, really. It's a huge festival, a huge celebration that is mainly celebrated in India, but like there's so many people who have a value for the Vedic heritage, and so Navaratri is celebrated in other countries as well. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in today. And I send you all these snowflakes here from Davos. It's an incredible reminder that we are unique, like snowflakes, and yet we are all water. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next time. Jai Ma! From my heart to yours, deepest gratitude for your presence. May you follow your wildest dreams, live your highest purpose, and expand into the infinite, because that's what you are.